Hey guys, what's going on? It's Wrestle Bits, and tonight was SmackDown. We're on Friday, April 15th. SmackDown tonight, and wow, this one started up crazy. We instantly had a promo from RK Bro, who were in the ring. They were fired up with one heck of a promo. They called out the Usos because they were on the Usos show, and let's be fair, it is the Usos show. They own this show. This is SmackDown. What everyone comes for, the Usos. So the Usos showed up. They told RK Bro, we're the Usos. We're the number one. We're number one. You guys are number two, and we're gonna win. RK Bro, or at least Randy Orton himself, and I love how Matt Riddle, he plays what RK Bro says up real well. And RK Bro, Randy Orton, excuse me, he came with some fire against the Usos. He was talking about their family, but he told them he didn't like them too much, let's just say. And that he's been setting records all the time. And yes, it's true. Randy Orton has been setting records, but usually it's within his most aggressive when he wins titles. And like I said, this is a different Randy Orton with Matt Riddle. I don't feel the Viper. I don't trust anyone. He is a different Randy Orton, and let's see how this Randy Orton deals with the Usos coming in. I believe to Backlash is what's coming up. And with that, the Usos were going back and forth with Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. And the Usos, they want it. They need it. They have something that they need to fight for. As Randy said, the big dog let them off the leash, but that's not what he did. The leash is not for holding them back. It's for Randy's own protection. It's for anyone's own protection who gets in the way of the Usos, the longest reigning tag team champions. Yes, Randy Orton has set records. Yes, he's done amazing things in his career, but in the tag team element, the Usos own that playfield, and that one is where Randy Orton is right now within the Usos playground, the big dog's playground. He is in the dog pin, and he's a snake in the dog pin, and we will see how both Randy Orton and Matt Riddle deal with the Usos, which I'll get into a little bit later as well. So that was a very nice start to SmackDown. After that, we had a little bit of a stare down between Glow and Brutality, which was Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. So they're kind of talking about what's been going on is that there's going to be a match coming up at Backlash because Liv Morgan won against Sasha Banks is how it all started. And Liv Morgan lost to Naomi last week, so this week is Rhea Ripley going up against Naomi. And in that match, perfect match going on all around. Rhea Ripley showing her strength, Naomi trying to take her down as she usually does, with Ripley powerhouse reversing some of her moves and showing her strength as well. It did show that Ripley was very strong in the match, with Sasha being worried, and what happened was Naomi lost to Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley pinned Naomi, and Sasha Banks on the side was looking at her title and going thinking, crap, we could lose. That's one to live with Sasha Banks. Naomi won with Liv, but Ripley now beat Naomi. So it could be anybody's. I love the fact that we have no idea. I couldn't even think going in, but I feel that Sasha and Naomi are kind of losing a little bit of the strength that they had going in. WrestleMania, they were amped up, but now Liv Morgan, she wants it. She needs it to prove it. That team could fall apart, so it's needed that they win that championship, or we might see the end of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, because I do see them falling apart, but a win could solidify that team for quite a while. But what would happen to Naomi and Sasha Because I know Sasha, she could be on either end. It really depends. Can't wait to see how that turns out. Also, we had a little bit more from Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss with the whole thing going on there, with Madcap Moss being just a nuisance to Happy Corbin, as Happy Corbin had constantly tried, to be the best that he could be, and Madcap Moss just kind of focusing everything on him ever since the the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. It's been all about Madcap Moss, and it's Corbin who was supposed to be the center of the attention. It was Corbin who went through all his problems. It was Corbin who went from the bottom, and now he's back, and yet Madcap Moss wants to take all the glory, and now here he is tonight. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but Baron Corbin had an interview. He said he's just as lackey, and he dropped some dead weight, and he's ready to reach to the top, to make it to the top. He would still be undefeated if it wasn't for Madcap Moss, and I couldn't agree with him more. And now Baron Corbin is saying that Madcap Moss is trying to make a name for himself. And he is. He came out tonight against Lotharios. I believe it was Humberto Carrillo. He went up against, and sure, he may have won tonight. This is one of few wins. Congratulations, Madcap. You're on your way to the top level of where Baron Corbin is. No, you're not. Baron Corbin, top of the food chain. Madcap Moss is like what he is, under a rock, just moss. So congratulations on your win for tonight. But as we move on, we have a little bit of Charlotte Flair. Drew Gulak had a run-in with Charlotte Flair that night. Got interrupted. Charlotte Flair, okay, you only get so many chances with Charlotte Flair. And he interrupted her. Immediately interrupting a queen is a no-no. So Charlotte Flair comes out. She has having her interview, and Drew Gulak, he basically a slap in her face, said that she had tapped out. Now, that's what I thought initially I had seen, but I am not an expert sports entertainer as Charlotte Flair is. So she said that she was adjusting her bra. Now we do know that she was having some issues with her wardrobe. So that's probably what she was doing. She was grabbing and adjusting. Ronda Rousey had her in a tap. She probably wasn't even feeling it. She was adjusting her garbs because why not? Why not? Because Ronda Rousey, she didn't have it. The ref was down. She could relax, knowing how professional she is, what she can do in the ring. She knew she was probably ready to reverse it. However, Ronda Rousey, thinking that she had it in the bag, thinking that she saw what some may have seen as a tap. I know the ref wouldn't have seen it that way if he was right up front, seeing the action for himself. But of course he's down, so nobody could say anything. But she says that she was adjusting herself. Ronda Rousey goes and picks up the ref. She gets knocked down by Charlotte Flair's clear and ready reversal. So it seems she was ready the whole time, not tapping out, not down, and she beat Ronda Rousey. They say if the ref was up, Drew Gulak said, yeah, if the ref was up, then she would be standing here as champion. No, that's bull. Charlotte Flair is champion. Drew Gulak was out of line. Charlotte Flair took him down after the interview, put him in the figure 8, made him say, I quit. That's what she does. She will make him tap out. He had words that he said. He should have been ready for something like that, and Charlotte Flair was not going to take it anymore. Put him in there, made him say, I quit, showed just how powerful her figure 8 leg lock is, and she left the ring very unhappy, and they still set up the match. She didn't say no to it. She just said, hey, you got to get in the back of the line, but of course Ronda Rousey had to bully her way to the front. But that's okay, because Charlotte Flair will once again come out on top. Next, we had a small promo from Gunther showing that he's ready to come out and he's ready to take on any competition. Then, after that, we have Drew McIntyre once again going up against Sami Zayn. Now, here he comes again. Drew McIntyre, who they still do not take the weapon that he's brandishing out to the ring. This is not a gladiatorial fight. This is a wrestling match. And he comes out with a weapon. A weapon. That's very intimidating. You didn't come out here to fight between gladiators. You know, he didn't have a sword. You know, let's give Sami Zayn a hammer too. Let's give him a weapon. Let's give him something that he can wield. Maybe a shield, you know, against the sword that he keeps bringing out. But nonetheless, Drew McIntyre comes out and he's gonna fight Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn I think Sami Zayn is doing a strategy against Drew McIntyre. He knows Drew McIntyre's aggressive, quick. He wants to fight. He's always just very brutal. He's violent, and all he does is attack. Sami Zayn, I believe he's playing head games with Drew. You know, the first time he left is because he's making Drew feel like he's won, and he's making Drew use all his strength, all his energy. You know, Sami Zayn's been saving his. And this match was no different. He left the ring once again as a strategy to not wear himself down. You don't want to wear yourself down too much, you know, especially against somebody like Drew McIntyre. He knows what Drew McIntyre is capable of. He also knows that he's a violent person bringing out weapons to the ring, but he's got to play it safe. So he took off again out of the ring, giving Drew the win because he left the ring. But he's doing smart head games. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing. So we don't have to question. But nonetheless, he goes in the back and the official says, well, you keep running, we're going to give you a lumberjack match, which I don't think is fair. Now you put enough people outside of the ring, pushing him into this violent person who carries a weapon into the ring. I don't know what they're thinking. I would be frightened myself if somebody had a weapon and comes to the ring and I had to fight them. I would probably keep my distance and play very smartly, as Sami Zayn has been doing. But nonetheless, we have another match next week for the lumberjack match between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn, which I hope, and I hope for his sake, and I hope everybody else is thinking about him and that he's safe against this criminal, this violent person brandishing a weapon. I hope he comes out on top. You know, we're praying for you, Sami. We hope you're okay. Then we had Ricochet coming out defending his championship against Jinder Mahal, which I have been waiting for Jinder to get in the ring. A former WWE champion is in the ring, and he was fighting to get the Intercontinental title. On this particular night, unfortunately, Ricochet came out on top as the winner. Ricochet, he has an amazingly incredible, unique, diverse style of wrestling, and it's hard to counter him. But if Jinder Mahal had another shot, I'm sure he would figure him out next time. But dang it, he didn't win. Sorry, Jinder. Ricochet won, and he is now still the Intercontinental champion. Then we had Sheamus and his group of tough individuals, including Butch and Ridge Holland, with Sheamus. They weren't, I wouldn't call it a fight. Butch just wants to prove he can win because I believe he had the loss last week, so he wanted to show that he was as tough as he is, which I know Butch is very tough. I do like him. I do like Holland. I do like this group. Butch went out and he attacked the New Day just to show, you know, how unhinged, in a way, of course not weapon unhinged, but just fighting style unhinged he can be to attack and show the New Day that he's ready to take on anybody. He's wild and he's ready to get in there and fight. I think he deserves to have another fight, have a few more brawls under his belt, and he's going to be ready to unleash on the WWE world. Then we had like a segment with Lacey Evans talking about her life and her background before we moved on to Natalya, who was very confused about all the new wrestlers in the back. And, you know, she was introduced to Raquel Rodriguez, which she was seemed to be uncomfortable. But I mean, hey, when you meet somebody new, you never know how you feel. So Natalia's back here, and she wants to see what the competition is looking like. Nice to see Natalia back. Next, we had Matt Riddle representing RK Bro versus Jimmy Uso, because earlier that night they had asked if they wanted to settle some kind of score. And so he put together a match, and it was Matt Riddle versus Jimmy Uso, because the Usos had attacked Matt Riddle after the whole confrontation they had at the beginning of SmackDown. So when they were leaving the ring, they had a whole confrontation where he pulled down Matt Riddle and kind of choked him out. And he was like, beat down, and they wanted to do something. So they got a match, Jimmy Uso and Matt Riddle. And that match was a really nice match to watch. I recommend watching it. It definitely had a lot of good back and forths in that, and some outside of the ring. They had tumbled out to the outside. Randy Orton, now he did get involved in that match, which would lead Jey Uso to now get involved, because it was Jimmy's match, but Jey Uso had to get involved because, Randy Orton was getting involved. And just when it looked like Jimmy would have had the match won, Randy Orton got involved, thereby letting Matt Riddle take the win over Jimmy Uso. Now, that is one win in their pocket, if you will. That is one win on their side. And against the Usos, you have just made the Usos even angrier, even hungrier. They think they got it from you. They're really going to hear it from Roman. And they're going to come back even more savage. So I don't know. Even though this match may have worked in your favor, RK Bro, in the end, you may have just angered the big dog, thereby angering all the dogs in the yard. You don't want that when they become ravenous, angry, and what the Usos definitely are is hungry. And they want those titles. They want to unify it, just like Roman has unified both the WWE and SmackDown championships. The Usos want to unify the tag team championships and become historically known for doing such a feat. They want it, and they're hungry. RK Bro, you have to come with it. You have to come hungry as well, because the Usos want to have their day one. But that was the entirety of the SmackDown, which I really liked. I liked the whole storytelling. I liked seeing Charlotte Flair doing her interview, talking about how she has solidified her match, how she has won her championship fair and square. We also are going to see Sami Zayn go up against that vigilante, that weapon-wielding person, Drew Macintyre, and hopefully he stays safe. We've got a lot of good matches coming up for next week, and going into Backlash, I see a lot of potential for a lot of these matches, unifying titles, rivalries, and just overall excitement. So that was my take on SmackDown this day, Friday, April 15th, 2022. I liked it. I'm ready. I want to see more out of all these competitors, except for Drew McIntyre. Put your weapon away. All right. But that was my take on it. I hope you guys liked it. I hope, I want to see your comments and how you feel. I know obviously you're going to be taking my side because you see the wrongfulness of what's been said to Charlotte Flair. You see how I digress. However, please leave a like, subscribe to me if you want to hear more from me every week. Please leave a comment. I'd like to hear your comments, and we can talk about, how you feel about it and how I feel about it, and we can see how we see each other's point of view. And once again, thank you for listening in to Wrestle Bits, where you get your bits of wrestling information. Take care.